I don't know. Just at the end of the day, if it's something you really want to do, you'll figure out a way to do it. And
Mhm.
even if it's as simple as like starting with small little steps, like like I knew that I needed to just start coaching more. I was like, I need to get better at being a coach. Like this is something I want to do. So anytime somebody wanted like a shift covered, I'd be like, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, cool. Like let's start there.
Boop boop bitty bop bitty bop bitty bop boop bitty 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 boop.
That is literally the exact same as the one I do.
Exactly.
Exactly the same.
This is It's the new
I thought I was listening to a Hanson song for a second.
advanced version. The Boom Show intro. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You have your hosts Tony and Amy. Amesfit is here, and we have our special guest, the J Dizzy, Jason
The
Duttle,
King of the North.
the King of the North. Hey, tell them to keep it down over there, right? Jeez and crackers, I can't even talk to you.
Sorry, I'm going to mute myself until I'm ready to talk.
So,
Great idea.
So Jason, tell us your exact full name, including your middle name, maybe spellings if you need to, and then where you were born, and tell us about your family after that.
Oh wow! All right, my
Let's
name
go.
is Jason Michael Duttle, and I was born in a small town in New Mexico called Las Cruces, and I've got one younger sister. Both my parents are still in New Mexico. My dad comes from a huge family of 13 kids, and my mom has only 2 siblings. So very interesting growing up with 7.
That's a lot of cousins, I feel like.
Yeah, a lot of cousins. I don't know how my grandma did it for, I think, like 85 years or whatever, but she hung in there.
Plot twist: his grandma is 140 years old.
Right.
Jeez, Pete. And then, and what do you do within Burg?
Oh man, I guess I run north, or try to, with the assistance of you and Amy at times when I call and like, what the hell, everything's on fire. She walks me off a ledge. Yeah, so I'm the general manager of Burg CrossFit North.
Cool. So, all right, from here now we get into the olden days. The days. I'm not talking like olden days of like Burg.
I need to interrupt this really quick because this is funny. It's like, because I'm newer to the game, but everyone that's been on the podcast so far has known Tony for like 700 years. So you guys have all these like cool backstories about like how you've known each other, and like it's been like 10 years and et cetera, et cetera. So can't wait to hear.
Duttle's been, he was at the very original location way back in the day, but we'll get to that. Before that, tell us you said New Mexico, right?
New Mexico.
And tell us how long were you there, and kind of what was your childhood like?
What was my childhood like? I don't know. I guess pretty normal. I don't know. Played a bunch of sports.
All right.
Soccer, football, baseball.
Okay.
Oh wait, no baseball. Soccer, football, basketball.
How did you mix in baseball there for a second?
I don't know. It just started with a B. It's been so long. As Amy would say, one of those Duttleisms. Too much standing in baseball. Yeah, just me and my sister grew up in a small house in rural New Mexico. My great-grandparents owned a pecan farm.
Really?
So spent a lot of time on a pecan farm helping out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's very, very different, I guess, than most people grew up, I guess.
Interesting. Did you?
So what was that like? Yeah. What would be your typical day, or like during the summer when you were out of school? Would you just help them?
Sometimes, yeah, just like chopping weeds and stuff. I wasn't like, shaking down the trees or anything like that, but it was interesting.
I have this vision of you running around in like overalls with no shirt on and no shoes, and like
oh yeah, I had a cowboy hat and cowboy boots and the whole thing.
How big was their farm?
I don't know.
Pretty big?
It was big.
And
it was huge.
It's no longer.
No, so they got older and they sold the farms and stuff. Probably when I was like 12, 13 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Kind of
pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely something unique. Probably something not a lot of people know about me.
Oh
Throwing
man.
that out there.
Secret question. That's pretty cool. So you and your sister, how close are you guys in age?
2 years. She's 2 years younger than I am. She lives out in Denver. Doing well. She's in software. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Were you guys pretty close growing up, or kind of the standard like
yeah,
siblings beat up each other?
just
You know?
beating the hell out of one another. Kind of thing. She was bigger than me in high school, so it's almost a fair fight. And she's definitely meaner than I am, or was meaner than me.
So what's the vibe like in New Mexico? Because I'm from Florida. Tony, I guess, is pretty much from Florida now. But like, is it like a West Coast kind of feel, or like what is it like over there?
So New Mexico is known as the land of mañana, which is like the land of tomorrow. So everything is super slow. The motto is like, I'm not gonna do it today, I'll do it tomorrow. Kind of like if you've ever been to Hawaii, same type of vibe. Like
I feel like that's a Florida thing too. I don't know.
I think I need to move to New Mexico. Sounds like a
You
good.
wouldn't like that.
Go freaking crazy.
Yeah.
It's a good place to be from. It's nice to go back because time just like slows down for the most part. But 4 or 5 days it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
How's the weather there?
It's like pretty much windy from mid-February to end of May, and it's like dust, dirt, just in your eyes, in your face. Dry, super dry.
Weird.
There's pretty much like, at least where I grew up, four seasons, so it gets pretty cold. Snows in the winter a few times. Yeah, just relaxing.
Did you do like? Is there cool hiking and stuff out there?
Yeah, tons of stuff to do outdoors. Huge mountain range right outside of the city we lived in. So spent a lot of time outdoors, bird hunting, hiking, camping, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. And then you said you played soccer, basketball, and
football.
What was your big sport, or was there one? Or you pretty much even?
I would say I enjoyed probably football the most, and then I realized I was going to be a short white kid, and the odds were stacked against me. I was probably better at soccer more than anything, so I pursued soccer and eventually played soccer in college. And
yeah, cool. What school did you go to for college, or where'd you go?
I went to a junior college in Phoenix, and then I transferred back to New Mexico State and finished out there.
Okay, so you played soccer in Phoenix, I assume?
Yeah, and in New Mexico State.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you played the whole time you were in college?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. What position did you play?
I played left wing or center mid.
Okay.
So
were you left-footed or right-footed?
Left-footed.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
look at that.
Yeah. All the power.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. What was I going to say? I had another question there. What'd you major in school?
Yeah, so I got a major in finance with a minor in economics, and obviously not doing a whole lot with that right now, but definitely some valuable tools to have with just.
You can make the hell out of a spreadsheet. Okay. So,
yeah.
Just gonna say that out loud.
Yeah.
I've never even known that kind of color existed on a spreadsheet. So that's awesome.
Yeah. There we go. For all the listeners out there, I'm known as the nerd with Burg CrossFit because I'm pretty good at Excel. And
Jason will have a spreadsheet, and then you'll be like, "Oh, I just kind of like play with it a little bit," and I'll open it back up, and it's like a Skittles like bag. I'm like, "Wow!" I have to have Chris come over. I'm like, "What does this mean? I am lost. I don't know how to do any of this. Like cells, like I don't know."
It's magic.
He is pretty good at the Excel.
Yeah,
for sure.
Right. Put that on your resume. No, yeah. So let's, I guess, go back from college. After that, I thought I was going to be a financial advisor and this big like stockbroker, and going to trade stocks for a living, do all this stuff. And I got a job with a buddy of mine at his firm, and I pretty much lasted 3 weeks. Felt terrible for that exodus, but I just knew instantly it wasn't for me. And I was like, sorry, appreciate what you've done, but just not in my my wheelhouse to do this. So
Why is that? What was it? What was the big thing? That
I guess it was just, I don't know. How do I put this in PC terms?
It sucks.
Yeah, no, it just
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
it wasn't our morals didn't align. How about that?
So I was just watching. I've seen it before, but the Wolf on Wall Street. And that's all I can envision.
Yeah, it's
Quaaludes and just strippers and
cocaine and
just
I'm kidding.
So you're saying that's what it was like?
No, maybe I would have stayed if that's what. No.
Like, man, I'm in the wrong career field.
No, it just wasn't a good fit for me, and so I was living in Albuquerque, and I packed my shit up, and then I moved to Phoenix, and from there eventually got a job doing pricing and product management for Allstate Insurance. Another super fun, exciting job, but I got to use some of those finance skills, and yeah, so I did that for a few years. Rolled into bevvie, and from there I was doing like systems implementation, got more into like IT type of stuff, all while living in Phoenix. Fast forward, now we're rolling into my 30s, so I just turned 30, and recently broke up with an ex. Went to Vegas for a bachelor party and met Alicia. And,
yes.
Yeah. So we stayed in contact long distance for a little bit, and I was kind of at like a turning point in my life. Long story made short, after lots of flights out to the East Coast, I picked up and moved to Pittsburgh. Kept my job at Bank of America and was working from home out there. And I didn't know anybody, was in a city I'd never been to. Yeah, and so she like begged me to do CrossFit. She was like, "You need to do CrossFit. You need to do CrossFit." I'm like, "Nah, I don't think so."
Where did she go at this point? Was Burg open now, or?
No, this is in Pittsburgh.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, so she had done it in Charlotte. She moved back to Pittsburgh. I moved to Pittsburgh, and I had met a friend.
She's from Pittsburgh.
She's
right?
from Pittsburgh, right?
Did you move to Pittsburgh because you guys were dating, and she moved back?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly. That was probably after like 6, 7, 8 months of just like long distance, just whatever friends. And yeah, so she like begged me. She's like, "You just need to do CrossFit to meet people and like get out of the house and stuff." And so like, finally, I caved. And the reason why I was so reluctant is the first person I ever met that did CrossFit was like the biggest douche I'd ever met. And he just on and on and on and on about CrossFit and all this stuff. And I like never met the guy. Got to the point where like he like got aggressive because I just like wasn't interested in hearing his CrossFit story. I was like, Jesus Christ, what's wrong with these people? So anyways, I joined up at CrossFit Mount Lebanon, which is right down the road. It's like a mile down the road. And I used to just run there every day. Like, it didn't matter if it was like snowing, sleeting, whatever. That was like my warm up. And yeah, fast forward now I'm at Burg and I run a gym, a CrossFit gym.
Bam, just like that.
So I know I gave like the super high level view of the last 18 years of my life.
Say we're done. Podcast.
Yeah,
over.
let's move on.
What were you doing? So you're in Pittsburgh. You're working for B of A, right?
Yep.
And you had gotten into CrossFit. Were you doing other? I mean, were you a runner? Did you say you were working at just regular gyms?
Oh,
Did you do
yeah.
anything else?
Yeah. So
still playing soccer anywhere?
Yeah, I was still like kind of playing soccer here and there. After college, and I wasn't playing soccer anymore. I did the LA Fitness thing for like. Let's see if my math's right. Or Globo Gym. I don't know if we're allowed to say specific brands on here.
We don't have a whole lot of rules on this podcast right now.
All right, let's go.
Ask Amy.
Come get us, Law Fitness.
Yeah, so I did that for like, I don't know, 10 years, and I was just like super burned out. I was still playing like soccer here and there, but I just really missed like that community and team atmosphere, like the intensity of the training. You know, going to the Globo gym, you're just there in front of a mirror and do a set and walk around, get some water, do another set, like your freaking earbuds in. I was just burned out, and I was actually a little arrogant when I went in and did CrossFit for the first time, and I think it was like the second day of foundations. It was like, oh shit. All right. I was like, this is cool. This is gonna like teach me some stuff and push me to my limits. And I was like hooked after that. And I was like, God damn, like how's this like 50-year-old woman just like crushing me right now?
So you were at that gym, you did foundations. How long were you doing CrossFit before you came down to Florida?
I guess just about a year.
Okay.
It was only about a year. And then when I came down here, I was in Pittsburgh. They were divesting the company that I was working for, and I was either moving to California or I was moving to Florida. So I wanted to live on the beach somewhere, and just so happened that I found a job consulting down here in St. Petersburg, and I moved down for a few months, and then eventually Alicia came down. But doing so, I checked out a handful of gyms in the area, and once I came to Burg, I just knew it was the right fit for me. So that was 6 years?
Yeah.
5-6 years ago.
In the tiny Burg.
Yeah.
Somehow the tiny Burg convinced him to stay.
I missed all the fun.
Yeah. It was a little wilder back then.
The sweat. We call that the sweat.
I can't imagine it being wilder than it is now, but I'll agree with you.
I'm just younger and dumber.
Yeah.
Or at least I was.
So you were consulting down here, and what were you like specifically? Dive into that a little bit.
Oh
what
my
was?
God, I don't
I
really.
mean,
You guys want
maybe
to know
a little
about
bit,
this?
I guess, because consulting's like a broad.
Yeah.
I feel like it's very broad. You know.
Yeah. So consulting. I was working for a Silicon Valley tech company, kind of a smaller startup, and they brought on their first big Florida account, and they hired me on to basically run and like manage and facilitate that implementation and program. So I was literally in the office with the client 40, 50, whatever hours a week with them, and then relaying basically the specifications and what needs to happen back to San Francisco, Silicon Valley. And about once every 2 months, I'd spend about 5 to 10 days in California, and then come back out to St. Pete and just make sure things are running like they're supposed to. So I was effectively like a project manager, a business analyst, and doing some other things, kind of all mixed into one consulting type job.
Got it.
Yeah, probably means not a whole lot to you guys.
Well,
yeah,
puts some things into perspective, kind of what you were doing, but I mean, I know you told me you were grinding. I mean, you were working.
Oh yeah.
Not that you're not working a lot now, but
yeah.
Different.
The pay is a little different, but
yeah.
Yeah. So obviously this is a lot more rewarding. So yeah, I was working, anywhere from 50 to 70 hours a week, and I was dealing with people in Malaysia, China, Taiwan, India. So we had development teams all across the world, and obviously they're on different time zones. So taking calls at like 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, just making sure they understand like what to do, and going through and checking all their work. And so yeah, a lot of long hours doing that. Learned a lot.
Yeah, I bet. So you kind of got, touched on all that stuff. You've been doing CrossFit, then, Pittsburgh for about a year, and then you kind of got into Burg early on. And then how long were you at Burg till you started coaching? Because you started coaching at OG and
yeah.
Some point. I don't know if it was.
We were at the other gym, or it was after the move. I know that. So probably 2 or 3 years in. I don't know. Me, Dan, Nikki, and a couple others all got licensed at the
That's
same
right,
time.
yeah.
Got our certs. So it's been a couple years, 3 years, I think.
Yeah, so you were coaching then, the same time Nikki was. So you guys can listen to Nikki's podcast about that, give a little more context of when Jason jumped in. But pre Ames Fit has not arrived yet. So pre Ames
Yeah.
Fit. So but yeah, you were coaching doing part-time stuff, and because obviously you still had your full-time job. And then I know this was before we opened Sunbury or North, right?
Right.
Yeah, so you were coaching then, and then we opened North, opened Sunbury, and then I don't know how the conversation had ever been brought up, but we had talked one time of, do you remember how it came up with like your interest in wanting to do this full time? Or what that?
I don't know how it unfolded. It might have been.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is like, when did you know? Because I know you weren't coaching full time. Obviously, you were like coaching, like the barbell and the Burg Fed and whatever at night after you were working, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, when did you know? Like, you were like, I do not want to do this consulting stuff anymore. I want to coach.
Because like you said, I mean, obviously you were grinding, you were working a lot of hours. It was probably a stressful job at times, but I know the pay was great, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and so the change, I guess for people listening, like I know there's people that are interested in doing not only like making a transition in their career, let's say into CrossFit, for example, but in something else that might be a passion, but it's not lucrative, like they have it set or doesn't have the benefits, like health benefits and insurance and all this stuff that people look for in a job, but it's like that's what they really want to do. And you took that jump, you took that leap, which is, I guess, maybe gives more context for some of the listeners of like how to relate to that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess the initial conversation, I don't know how that transpired, but obviously we didn't move forward. It probably wasn't the right time. And there was some other logistics, I think, that just weren't going to work out. So, you went with different path of management and all that unfolded. And, yeah, I got tired of the grind. The money was great, but it was just somewhat unfulfilling, personally. So I actually quit and I took like 4 months off. I didn't do anything. I just like hung out. I went and saw my family. I went and backpacked. I just like all the stuff that I wasn't able to do because I was just working so freaking much was like kind of my time to like catch up on that and just decompress and kind of think about, all right, what is it that I want to do? And so I knew I didn't want to work 80 hours a week anymore. I didn't want to be up at 2:00 in the morning talking to people in Malaysia or wherever. So I found something a little more stable. Found a job here locally. I did that for about a year and a half. Worked for a really, really great company. Everything aligned morally, ethically. The pay was good, but still just like something was missing. And I used to coach soccer when I was in college too, and that was really rewarding. And being in here and actually helping people achieve their goals, whatever it may be, if it's getting their first pull up, losing 20, 30, 10 pounds, whatever it is, whatever that like thing was that they're looking for, was super satisfying. So for me, I'm like, okay, how can I, or what can I do to do more of this, to just, I guess, selfishly fulfill what I was missing, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, fast forward like a year and a half later, you're kind of at a crossroad with North, and you're like, hey man, here's an opportunity. What do you think? And for me, it just, I knew I wouldn't be all the way, I guess, invested unless I had some skin in the game. So for me, it only made sense, at least in my mind, to have some type of ownership. And that's when you and I, spent a lot of time negotiating that and figuring out how that was going to work. And really, questioning myself, was this something that I wanted to do, full time, fully aware of what the financial change would be, right? So there's definitely a trade-off there with fulfilling that void that was missing in my life of actually helping people and giving back to others. But there was a trade-off with that, which was the financial aspect of it. So, I talked with a lot of people that I trusted, my parents, Alicia, making sure collecting her thoughts on it. And definitely, she's been a huge help with all this, because she had to take on more responsibility with the home. Not that we don't have kids or anything, but we've got, a house and dogs and, that whole thing going on. So
Alexis.
What's that?
Is that an Alexis?
Yeah. Well, yeah. She's kind of taking care of herself now. So that's good. Or maybe Jeff's taking care of her. Or Lex is taking care of Jeff.
You have to tell everyone the story about how she calls you. Doesn't she call you guys mom and dad?
Yeah. So I guess for everybody that doesn't know, Alexis is Alicia's younger sister, and she was looking for a road out of Pittsburgh into a sunnier terrain. So we invited her to come live with us for a while, and she lived with us for quite some time. It's all good. We helped her out and helped her get kind of situated, and now she's kind of helping us out. So it's good. And she's moved out. So
Lex is
that doesn't do her personality any justice, but she is literally the funniest person you'll ever meet. And she calls Jason and Alicia mom and dad. I remember hanging out with her. She'd be like, yeah, mom and dad, and whatever. You guys will take pictures, and she'll always say mom and dad's in the Christmas photo.
Yeah, she referred to me as her brother dad for a long time.
Yeah, that's what it was.
real freaking weird.
My brother dad. That's what it is. That's what it was. Oh, it's so funny.
Lex is a one of a kind bird.
Yeah. She
100%.
She has her own drum and she has her own feathers.
That's a good way to put it.
She's awesome.
Yeah. Super fun to be around though. It was pretty easy to live with her for the most part. There's always one stipulation. She had to do the floors. That was Alicia's thing, because she hated doing it. So we were literally like checking her chores list. Hating life like a teenager, like a 16-year-old kid with earbuds in, just vacuuming and mopping, just hating us.
That's funny. So so you took the plunge, man. And
back to that.
Yeah, tell us.
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking, and after talking with people that I trusted, and at the end of the day, it just came down to if I didn't take this chance and opportunity, I would always look back and be like, well, shit, I didn't even try. This is something I've wanted to do for a long time, was be some type of a small business owner, own kind of be in charge of your own fate, your own destiny for a long time. And there wasn't anything that I was that passionate about until I found CrossFit, and I was just like, all right, well, now's the time to do it. Don't have kids yet, and I'm only, as you guys know, I'm only getting older, losing hair, and so yeah, just made the plunge. And when was that? That was a year ago, a year and a month and change. So
is it really? Okay.
Yeah. My first day of officially owning the gym was the first open workout of 20, whatever that was, February.
Back when they had the
normal
open set up, February, March.
Yeah.
February,
Jen was pregnant then.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember
2 years ago.
Oh, I'm off by a year.
That's 2 years ago. Yeah, so Jason was you took on a lot though in the transition period when we were talking about this, and you were still running, both your day job and then you were coaching a shit ton of classes, which was cool.
I forgot about that whole transition period.
Yeah, because why would you remember it? It was just a blur.
Yeah, it was intense, and a very very fast learning curve. I was still working, 40 hours a week and probably coaching 20, 25 hours a week and starting to learn like the details of how to run the business and figuring out like order of operations. And it was definitely a learning experience that I had to adapt to quickly. Probably not quick enough, but it happened. So
yeah, there's it. The we were at the original North location when you took over, and you were always coaching at the OG St. Pete location. So most of the North people, I mean, I don't know if you had ever coached at North really prior to that.
No.
So none of the North people really knew you. So we kind of, you want everyone to be ingrained and not be like, call it pulling Amy. We're just say, oh, here's Amy, which we kind of did. But
yeah,
Amy did it. Amy did it in Sunbury. Everybody loves Amy. So, trying to make sure that the culture wasn't adjusted in a shockwave of events with this new guy coming in to run the show. And I think, no matter what, nobody likes change, it seems like. And if you do like change, then cool. But most people are when they get settled into their home gym or their home CrossFit, they don't want to see that quick adjustment to something. So we put them in and kind of got them blended into the system in a short amount of time as well as we could. And then he took over and everything was, I mean, maybe not smooth sailing, but we we got him. Here you go. So tell us about that. And original North location.
Yeah, it was, man. Well, first off, I know that personally I needed some development just as a coach in general, and something that I think we all strive to get better at. But because I was working so much previously, I probably didn't have the same exposure or hours of coaching that some of the other people like Nikki, Ryan, Ray, that they had. So there was kind of that learning curve. Then there was me being brand new, being dropped into North. No one really knowing me. Maybe a handful of people had seen me around at the other gym or whatever. So that was a challenge, just to earn people's trust and just adjust to all of it was eye-opening. So
yeah, and now it's, I guess, including the time that you were still at your day job coaching, how long has it been then? A year and a half, roughly? Kind of taken on the project in a way?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, about a year and a half.
Or taking the reins, I guess.
In November. Yeah. So yeah, about a year and a half.
And then you and I had kind of been looking at there was some adjustments we made at North because of the shift in lots of stuff. For me, opening both Sunbury and North at similar times was probably a pretty premature decision, but we made a lot of mistakes, and we try to learn from, make adjustments. But Jason was able to kind of really come in and help out with a lot of that stuff, and same with Amy. But I guess what I'm getting at is we ended up making some adjustments to the schedule, kind of adjusted just a lot of little tweaks here and there, and then ended up finding a new spot. So
yeah, it was and I guess for the members at North, they've probably had more change than any three of the gyms, I would say.
Yeah.
Well, maybe OG, maybe, I don't know. So they, the whole, I guess, change of leadership that it kind of occurred there, and I think Ray and Jeff were kind of spearheading North at the time for a little bit, and then I stepped in. Shortly after I stepped in, then we made some schedule changes. Some that didn't jive, and then we revised that, and then I think we got to a good place with the members as far as what that looks like. And then after we got that smoothed over, we found another location. So it's just like change after change after change. So, and again, we're going through change again. Like, not that we decided to make this change, but the old Corona. So
yeah. But our new spots it's kind of actually exactly exactly where I had originally looked for months. I mean, I'm talking like when I was looking for spots, it was like that was the spot to be in that I saw. One, it was like a warehouse district area, but it was the area that I knew there's 0 gyms in that area for one, and two, it's a nice area of St. Pete. It's a really nice area of St. Pete. So that's Tyrone by the Tyrone Square Mall for those up in Sunbury that want to look it up. But so we're more. It's almost like instead of being Burg CrossFit North, it's kind of Burg CrossFit West in a way. But we're sticking with North. And but it's an awesome place. So a quick little shout out to. We were really, really blessed. It was ironic because we kind of looked around and it was just absolutely nothing available, like nothing. So we had been putting our feelers out just to see what would come up, and kind of lost hope, I would say. At least I did a little bit. Not that we gave up, but kind of lost hope of like there's just not anything available. Or if there is anything available, it's extremely, extremely expensive. And this guy came in with like really nice, slacks on and a button-up shirt. I'm like, what is this guy doing? Maybe just check out. I just went up and said hi. He goes, hey, I'm a realtor and I've got a space that might, if you guys are looking to move, might work really, really well. And I was like, well, where's this space? And if we weren't looking to move St. Pete or OG at that time. But he goes, it's over in Tyrone. And he's like, shot these pictures and it was just awesome. I mean, this lady had completely redone this warehouse and it was awesome. I mean, she had done a phenomenal job. And they actually, so it's a place called Molly Suds. A little shout out to Monica and Rick, their company, Molly Suds, which is all chemical free, like cleaning detergents and soaps and all that stuff.
But they're busy now.
Oh yeah,
slammed.
And her husband Rick's big into cars, so he had a section of the warehouse that was a nice 4,000 square foot warehouse that he'd redone and just basically made a perfect brick and mortar like show car storage, and never pulled the trigger on it, like actually storing cars there other than his own. So they had previously done CrossFit and looked for some gyms that might want to move, and they found us, ironically. And I was like,
wow.
Actually, yes, Mr. Realtor. Let's go take a look at this. But yeah, so Monica and Rick are our new landlords, and they did a pretty awesome job with the build out for some new showers and bathrooms for us. And it's a quick little shout out to them. But yeah, so we've been there since, when did we move into there? October?
Yeah, October. So 6 months.
Yeah, so 6 months. So I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like other than the COVID, we've kind of, in a way, found a nice settling point for North.
Yeah.
After
no, the new location's great. Rick and Monica are awesome. They're not only are they just our landlords, but they're like pretty involved in our community and they're members of the gym. We've got we've done some corporate wellness work with them, so they've been great. Just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff. And I had something else to say. I forget what I was gonna say.
I was going to ask you earlier, while you think of that, Tony, I always find this question fascinating. Like when someone asked me this a long time ago, because you don't know, obviously, but what has been like the biggest surprise to you as far as like doing your job now that you never thought, like, you look at a coach and they're coaching or like, let's say you were coaching back in the day, just part-time, and you're just coming in coaching and kind of, shooting the crap with everybody and then leaving, compared to what you're doing now. Like, what is the biggest, like you think it's coaching, but it's actually like this, or you think it like the behind the scenes stuff that people don't really think that goes on, I guess. Does that make sense?
Is the job what you expected it to be?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at.
Or is it like completely different?
Oh, man, that's, I don't know. I guess I knew it was going to be, a lot of work. But I guess it ended up being a little more challenging than I thought it was going to be. How about that? Like,
yeah,
like you try and mentally prepare yourself. Like, okay, now you're a business owner and everything is kind of on your shoulders, or you and your partner's shoulders. But there's just so much that goes into running a CrossFit gym or any business in that matter. So all those, like all the books that I've read or podcasts that you listen to, where it's like, you're the IT guy, you're the freaking plumber, you're the you're the this, you're the that, you're you're the customer service guy, you're the billing person, you're the bookkeeper. Like,
Yeah.
all those things are just 1,000% true. And it was eye opening. So, a lot of respect to one, anybody that owns their own business, but two, also to Tony and Jen for what they've built, and it's just cool to be a part of.
Yeah, thanks, man.
And Amy too. Like, I know there's been days where I'm just like, geez, what the what did you do in this scenario, or how'd you do it? And she's like, yeah, you just got it, ABC. It's like, okay.
Yeah, but it goes both ways. There's been times recently where I've called you, and what happens is I drain my complaining on Tony. So I'm like, okay, well, who else can I complain to?
That bucket's full.
Yeah, my limit has been crossed. I'm like, oh, I can call Jason. He'll understand.
Yeah. And I guess the other thing too is when I made the decision to partner with Tony, Jen, everybody else here at Burg. I guess I wouldn't have wanted to take on this venture without their leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of their guidance. That was part of the the deal, was to have him more or less be like a consultant, and because there was the option of me just buying the gym outright. It was kind of left it up to me, like, what do you want to do? And
right.
I definitely saw value in the brand and what Tony and Jen were doing, and the direction that they were going and the vision they had. So I wanted to keep that, and I wanted the transition to be as seamless as possible, and protect the brand, and still show the same value to all the members.
Boom.
That was good.
Mic drop.
That was really good.
Yeah. So it's been wild, but it's been very rewarding. I don't know. It's definitely crazy at times, but it's super rewarding.
Yeah, I will say on what you're talking about, you and Amy have been some serious rocks within the support system, within all the gyms, and to see, it's kind of weird, because like the experience for me with Amy, for instance, was prior to you.
Yeah.
But it was one and the same almost. It was cool to see you guys are different people, react to things differently, different gyms, but the startup of Amy was kind of in the same context as how you started. So it was almost like, all right, well, we've kind of gone through this with Amy, but I didn't really 100% realize that till, I don't know, a few months in, after like I started to see the correlation of like, all right, well, this is kind of what we did at Sunbury. So Amy had to handle it. Now it's like flip flop. Like, we just moved OG, and I was like, I know I've called to Amy, and I've talked to you, like, what are we doing here? Why are we doing this? I don't, me doing my venting to you guys. So it's become a pretty cool like trifecta, and the entire coaching staff is a part of that, which is really cool. But going back to like making that big leap, Jason, what was, I guess, I know we talked about it a little bit, but what's something, I guess, if somebody was to come to you and be like, hey, I don't know, you just said it, you'd look back in the past and be like, I regret it. I regret it if you didn't do it. So, I see so many people, and you hear it all the time of like, I could never do that. I wish I could do that. And they have the capabilities to do whatever they want to do, but no one's willing to, I can't say no one, but people do it. Obviously they take the leap, but not enough people take the leap towards what they really look forward to doing. I mean, I have a lot of close friends that I've talked to, and they're like, well, I just can't, I've got my 401k, or I've got, these benefits. I can't ever give that up, but I hate my job. I'm like, what, I mean, that's the best example, but just stuff like that. Or like, I've got, I just have this holding me down. Like, is it really that? Is it, what was it for you? More into that.
Jeez. I don't know. Just at the end of the day, if it's something you really want to do, you'll figure out a way to do it. Mm-hmm. Even if it's as simple as like starting with small little steps, like like I knew that I needed to just start coaching more. I was like, I need to get better at being a coach. Like, this is something I want to do. So anytime somebody wanted like a shift covered, I'd be like, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, cool. Like let's start there. Start somewhere small until you start just making those little steps, right? So like one little step can lead to another step. Had I not been taking those steps, you probably would just been like, well, yeah, Jason just comes in and he freaking does his like 1 hour a week or 2 classes a week. And, yeah, he's a great guy. He's good at what he does. People love him, whatever the situation may be. But just taking that extra little step, I think, open up the doors for this opportunity, right? So you just never know what that little step or little change can turn into.
So just moving some way, shape, or form towards getting involved with whatever you're trying to do, whether it's doing research or
right. And if something's holding you back, if it's financial, well then start there. Like, what do you need to do to lift that burden off your shoulder? That was one big thing that probably was weighing me down, was the finances, at least before I took this, right? So like taking those extra steps, like getting certifications, increasing my knowledge with IT, and taking those little steps allowed me to make more money. And then with making more money, I was able to pay off my debts. So,
right.
Being debt free, you're able to make those leaps of faith and not have to worry about, oh my God, I've got, $5,000, $10,000 in credit card debt, or I've got a car payment or student loans or whatever that thing is. Like, I've had all of it, right? I've had all of it, but making those small steps to improve yourself, and even just putting like one piece of that puzzle out there and working on that and building around it is, I guess, my recommendation to anybody.
Yeah, I could say, people that really want to get something, if they really want to get it, whether it's like losing 10 pounds or getting out of credit card debt, you've got to make the sacrifices that the people that are getting out of that stuff do. And then at the end of the day, then you don't have to stress about it. Like you're saying, like you're trying to lose 10 pounds, like quit drinking soda, something super simple, like make that sacrifice. Let's go. Or if you're going to, you need to cut back on your finances and pay off your credit cards, like get rid of your lease, your expensive car, and buy a clunker that you
just taking some kind of action.
I don't know. Yeah. So,
and I think it's like too, we talked a lot about this when we did my podcast together, but like making those small unconscious decisions that you don't even know that are setting you up for that specific, opportunity that you mentioned, like you didn't know that would, you took this class or got the certification or you coached more, you didn't know that would have an effect, but you kind of subconsciously made those decisions. So people often don't do that. They don't have that. They have that self-doubt constantly, where they choose the lesser of two evils, or they don't, instead of, it's not even like a risky like thing. It's just, I don't know. Like, I think true leaders and people who are successful have a natural like attraction to hard things, doing things the hard way. So like this COVID as an example, there's a lot of people who are taking this as a little vacation, where me and you guys and our team and hopefully a lot of our members are taking this as like, this is a time to work. Let's get our goals. Let's get there. So there's two ways to look at it, just like you described. So like, instead of taking the easy way, which would be, I'm just going to coach this like 1 or 2 hours a week and do my thing and make some extra money. I don't really need it, but you chose to coach more when you didn't need to and get more education. So that set you up for this opportunity, but it's all that stuff that people don't see, right? They just see like, oh, Jason, you're just crushing it up there. But they don't see the like 18 years before that where you chose the hard path. And same for you, Tony, chose the hard path to get you to where you are now. Like, oh, Tony with all his tattoos and muscle ups, look at him go. But they don't see like, you're at the gym till 9 o'clock at night, beating on stuff, walls and painting things black and things like that. People don't see that.
I don't think
they're at home watching Ozarks, on repeat, and that's fine. But like, that's what gets you to be successful, is doing work. You have to do the work. Yeah, and I'm done.
I think that's that forward. But in regards to the COVID, I was talking to somebody, I think yesterday, about it. Like, you can't just sit around. It's easy to be like analysis by paralysis. Is that the right thing to say
Yeah.
here? You just like froze up. Like there's nothing I can do. It's just over. It's done. I'm freaking out. But if you don't do anything, you're going to be way further back than everybody else that has stepped up to the plate during this time. And use fitness as your example. They are doing the home WODs. They are doing the Zoom classes. They are doing their own program. Whatever you're doing something. You're eating right. You're not just like, well, screw it. I'm at home all day working. I might as well just snack.
Yeah, like when this is over, I'll do this. Or when this is over, I'll get my nutrition back. Or when this is over, I'll do. Yeah, not to get on a tangent at all, but there's definitely a subtle little movement going on where it's okay if you want to sit on the couch. And it's okay if you're feeling like you're traumatized. And I'm just like, you guys have no idea, like what, like, traumatic. This is not traumatic. We live in a first world country. We go to the store and buy food. Like that is how lucky we are. We don't have to cultivate anything. We're not out in the fields, picking pecans. We get to go, like, we have to get takeout. You're upset because we have to get takeout now instead of like, get out of here. Like, come on.
It's rough.
So it's rough. Yeah. But you have two ways to look at it. And while everyone else is sitting there watching TV and taking this time to use their self-care or whatever they want to call it, we're going to be out there doing our thing. And our members are out there doing their thing because they're crushing it. So it's fun to watch.
Absolutely. So
it's be lit.
back onto the Duttle here.
The Dizzle.
When did the Duttle diet begin? When was that all? Tell us about the Duttle diet. Some of you guys know about the Duttle diet. Some of you don't. Tell us about the Duttle diet.
Oh my God.
Abs on abs on abs on abs.
Not anymore. Good Lord. Geez. It's I don't know. Just eat your greens. Pretty much anytime you're going to eat something, it's got to be with greens. Whether it's spinach, celery, kale, whatever. Every meal has greens, and a lot of them.
But you eat meat too. I mean,
well, yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. That was the biggest thing for me.
To like straight vegetarian.
No. So the biggest thing for me was when I was working. As you guys can glean, it's not the most like glamorous, fun, sexiest jobs I've ever had, but you're sitting at a desk for the majority of the day, and to stay awake I was eating like nuts and fruit, and like basically just my macros were like way out of whack, and I was like, what, I'm eating healthy things, and probably what a lot of people say, they're like, well, I don't eat hamburgers, I don't eat French fries, I don't eat this, I don't eat that. It's like, okay, well, how much of all that stuff are you really eating? Even if it is good, if you're eating, walnuts or whatever, almonds, but if you're eating like 1.5 pounds of walnuts every day, snacking, like that's not good. It's loaded with fat. So, just, working with Sarah and dialing that in and subbing out those snacks for literally like freaking sticks of celery and it worked. And of course, weighing out my food and, counting macros and keeping track of everything. But yeah, it's no secret. That's all it is.
Duttle shredded it up. So if you want to get shredded up, talk to him, and then he'll lead you back to Sarah and tell all the secrets of how to do that. But yeah, I mean, you talking about sacrifice. You made the sacrifice. You stepped it up. You did it. You stayed consistent. And you saw the results. I mean,
yep.
That's it. But
So I guess going back to the decision, just real quick. I know we kind of jumped around. Amy's chicken and hawk or chicken and eagle story was another like defining moment. I called you and I was like, Amy, like, tell me on, like, how is it? Like, what's going on up there? And you're like, you laid it out. You're very honest about like what the job was, what it entailed. And you're like, yeah, I heard this story from an old man, or maybe an old man told Tony and Tony told you. You're like,
I think this was from AJ, Tony. You remember him?
Yeah. You told me this story.
Yeah.
And
I honestly don't remember it, so please, I forgot what I said. I said something cool. Please tell me.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. It was the story about a guy that found a baby eagle or something.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And he had a chicken coop or chicken farm, so he raised it like a chicken. So the eagle grew up its entire life thinking that it was a chicken and didn't know how to fly. And so this guy comes over, he's like, that's an eagle. He can fly, he can fly, he can fly. And he's like, no, he can't. And so the guy's like, I'll prove to you that this is an eagle and he can fly. Like, he knows how to do it. And, the guy grabs the eagle and takes it to a cliff and he throws the eagle off the ledge and he ends up flying. And the point is, like, either you can be a chicken and sit in the coop or you can, get out and be an eagle and freaking fly. So. So I jumped off the cliff. And
you did a backflip off the cliff.
Yeah, my wings work sometimes. Sometimes they don't.
That's a beautiful story.
Yeah,
beautiful story.
Makes me hungry for chicken.
That's where that takes you. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so so rocking and rolling. We're dealing with the COVID. Everyone's still running some Zoom classes, all this stuff. This will come out during the COVID probably. So hopefully it's cleared up by the time this comes out. But tell us to kind of cap this off. What is the one thing other than what you've told us already? What is the one thing that no one knows about you?
Man, I don't know. I feel like I'm a pretty transparent person.
That's what they all say.
All
right, what is your biggest pet peeve?
Ooh.
Oh my God.
How much time do we have?
Yeah, I know, right? I feel like I'm collecting them the older I get, but I'd have to say people not being like gracious or thankful for. And the other one is people that chew loud.
That's mine. That's one of mine.
Close your damn mouth. I'm gonna go whoop Ryan and Jeff's ass in this work.
Oh yeah, he's got to get going. They got a bet going on. Today's 3:30. This will be posted after this anyway. But he's challenged them. If Duttle wins, if Duttle gets beat in this workout, which is 800-meter run, tell him the workout.
I don't know. 800-meter run, 50 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 150 air squats, 200 dubs, 800-meter run.
Duttle is a cheetah, by the way. And anyway, he's challenged the White Rhino and Jeff's kind of like a
Jeff kind of just like said, whatever, I'll do it.
Jeff's kind of like a zebra.
Yeah, he's right there. He's definitely upped his running game.
With the Rhino, the zebra, and the.
You gotta let somebody pace the workout, and you just hang out right behind them, and then right at the end, you just turn it on. That's what I do.
Yeah,
it works.
There's no
except for Wednesday's workout.
Yeah.
That did not work well for me.
His nemesis is mountain climbers.
Holy shit!
I did not know that until that day.
So guys, thanks again for supporting the gyms. Thank you for being a part of Burg, and thank you for listening to the Boom Show.
Boom boom.
Boom, guys.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Peace out.
Boy.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode on The Boom Show, produced by the team at Burg CrossFit. Whether you're local to one of our locations or just love what we do, we would love to invite you to check out our in-house and digital offerings at www.burgcrossfit.com. Whether you're feeling a bit stagnant, you feel like the quarantine is getting to your midline, or whatever the case may be, we would love to chat with you about how we at Burg CrossFit might be able to best serve and support you in this time. So head to our website, schedule a free, no-sweat virtual chat with us, and we'll see if we are a good fit for you. And if we're not, hopefully we'll be able to point you in the right direction to get you back on track and to keep you crushing your goals. Thanks so much for checking us out, and we'll talk to you soon.